Hey everyone, so I am here to do my March book wrap up. So I read four books. One was a children's book, two are like middle grade, and one's young adult. So here we go. So first up, we have The Titan's Curse, which is the third book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. So in this one, we meet two kids who basically find out that they are demigods, and there's kind of like other things going on, of course, as always, with gods and monsters and quests and adventures. So we meet Artemis in this one, Artemis and Apollo. They're pretty much, well, especially Artemis, she appears as a young girl because in the myth of Artemis, she always wanted to stay young and unmarried and stuff like that. Most, from what I've seen, usually depict her as older but still unmarried, whereas this one she's a lot more younger in this version. Um, so stuff happens. Annabeth disappears. They have to go find her. Stuff like that. It's a really good book. I'm enjoying the series. I definitely want to continue. But of course, I'm not going to give any spoilers here. So, but it was a fun book. I liked it a little bit better than the second one. Second one was good, but I don't know. Second one didn't retain my attention as much as this one and the first one did. Some books, while they still have story, kind of feel a little bit more like filler in some ways. Not that they're bad, but sometimes it's just something to kind of continue on until you get to like the next big plot. So the other book that I read was Strega Nona, which is basically Italian, if I remember correctly, for grandmother witch or witch grandmother, something like that, like grandma witch, basically. And so this is about Strega Nona, who is like the town witch and everything. And there's a man who kind of wants to help out, like be an apprentice kind of thing. And she gives him a rule not to touch her pasta pot, which is like it magically creates pasta. And this is a children's book, so of course he doesn't listen, and chaos happens. It was a cute book. It was a fun book. I read this because I am reading 24 banned books in 2024. Other people are doing this on YouTube and probably other places. So, of course, it was banned because she's a grandma witch. Next is Five Dark Fates, which is the last book, the last main book, because there's like a novella that I think is like little prequels or little short stories that go with the series. But the main book, Five Dark Fates, is the last book in the Three Dark Crown series. So we have things going on with Jewel and her Legion curse. We have, of course, the rebellion against Katarine, and the continuing fight against the Mist and the undead queens, and you know the idea, the worry, who is going to win at the end, who's going to take the crown. I really enjoyed this series. Sometimes I get a little bit mixed up from which book was which, but I've done that with other series too, especially reading it through audio. Um, because sometimes things are repeated or storylines continue, but I like the narrator because I listened to this all through audiobooks. I enjoyed the narrator, I enjoyed the prose, I enjoyed the characters. um, I will reread the series at some point, and I probably will go out and buy and own the books. I just thought it was an interesting concept. I wish we would have seen their magic powers, whatever you want to call it, a little bit more within the people that were outside of, you know, the royals and, their consorts and friends and all that other stuff. I would really like to see um, the naturalists or elemental, like the people who have those powers, like day-to-day lives and how it's used and everything. Not that the powers weren't used in these books, but I just expected it a little bit more. But overall, I did like the story. I really liked the characters, and I definitely do recommend reading the series. And so the last book is Flora and Ulysses. So this is about a young girl. I think she's like 10. She's a self recognized, or whatever you want to call it, cynic, basically. She's like into comics and other things. Her parents aren't kind of like together, but it's not like a sad situation or whatever. But the story goes that one day, I think her father brings her mother like a vacuum. I was kind of confused by this, but maybe it's because I read it in sections, so I didn't always remember. But I think it's the father. He bought the mother like a vacuum, and that's where the scroll got its name, Ulysses, because um, he almost gets vacuumed up by this vacuum. And we later on learned that he is like an intelligent squirrel, like he can type like poetry and stuff. And so like Flora, she's like really into like this one superhero and stuff. And then she meets this neighbor boy, or it's like her neighbor's nephew or something like that. And he's kind of annoying. Like his name is William, but he doesn't want to be called William. He wants to be called William Spiver, like his whole name. So they're pretty much very like unique kids. And then this like superhero like squirrel. So that's basically the story. Her trying to keep the squirrel safe, and you know dealing with the adults and stuff around her. It was more lighthearted um, than some of K.D. Kimilo's other works, like Because of Winn-Dixie. It doesn't go like so deep into things, but it is really fun, and I enjoyed that book. So, yep, that is my wrap up. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.